Hey adventurers, so today's going to be another book tag. This is the library tag. This was created by BookBuds and I was also tagged by them. So yeah, let's go through these questions. Again, I haven't prepared any answers for these questions, and so we're just gonna go with whatever answers come to the top of my head. So question 1. If you go, so we've got two sets of questions. If you go and if you don't, and if not. So question 1 is, okay, yes, I go to the library occasionally. How often do you go to the library? My answer is occasionally. I like going to the library, but I don't read books physically fast enough. I don't physically read books fast enough for it to be worth it for me to go to the library and get a book for 21 days and then have to return it before I finished reading it. And so it's not really a great option for me as a reader because I read physically so slowly. But I do like going to the library. Sometimes I'll go for, it's possible that some of these other questions talk about this, but occasionally I'll go for studying or just sitting or relaxing or whatever it might be. Sometimes I'm looking for something specific or whatever, and then I'll go. But usually I don't go very often at the moment. It's not very often. That's the answer. How often do I go to the library? Not very often. Question 2. Do you belong to more than one library system? I don't believe so. As far as I know, no, but I could be wrong. I don't believe that I belong to more than one. What percent of books you read come from the library? That's a good question. I would say about 50%. And I know I just said I don't check them out, or I don't go to the library very often because I can't physically read very quickly, but I believe, yes, question 4 will answer why that is that I say about 50%. So do you listen to audiobooks or get ebooks from the library, or are you hooked on Audible or Amazon or something else? So the answer is yes, I use my library for audiobooks quite often. That's I always check to see if my library has the audiobook before I look for it on somewhere else, whether that's Audible or whatever it might be. So yes, Audible is generally my go-to for audiobooks if I can't find them on my library. And so yes, I do. I listen to audiobooks all the time. I sit at my desk at work and with an earbud in listening to audiobooks all day long. And so yes, that one I can fully give an actual answer on. Did you go to story time at the library as a kid? Yes, we did sometimes. It wasn't super common that we would go, but occasionally I did. I don't remember any of the stories that were told. I remember feeling really awkward and not caring for them that much, not wanting to go to them that much. I wanted to go because it was like the thing that you're supposed to do as a kid, that you're supposed to go, but then it would always end up being something that I was like, this is really weird, I don't want to be here type thing. And so yeah, I did as a kid, not very often. Have you ever borrowed a movie or video game from your library? Yes, lots of movies. We've done lots of movies, lots of TV shows from the library. My brothers did video games fairly often. They would do one of the early Ghost Recon games, 2 or 3 or something like that. I don't remember. And they would also do Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. That was a common one that we would do. We would go and get Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga and play that one. And so that was very common. So for video games, we did occasionally, but video games weren't nearly as often as movies or TV shows. We did a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows from the library. It was usually, for TV shows, it was usually MacGyver, Hogan's Heroes, Andy Griffith, Cosby Show. There was a lot of things like that where they were like the family friendly TV shows that we would always get. So that's what we would get from the library. Movies, we would find lots of movies that we would get, but I feel like we tended to get more TV shows than movies from the library. Have you ever gotten fined for returning books late? If so, how do you feel about that? I don't believe so. It's quite possible. When we were kids, we were chaos. There was lots of chaos going on, and I'm sure there were times when we returned things late, and Mom probably did get fined because of that. But since I have been doing stuff for myself, no, I have never gotten fined for returning a book late, and I don't have a problem with it, because if I were to get fined, I wouldn't have a problem with it because it is my responsibility to return these books to the library at such time as they are required to be returned due. So I don't have a huge problem. Depends on how much the fine would be. If it's like $2, $3, $5, something like that, probably not. If it was like 100, then I'd have a problem with it. That's a lot, but I don't know exactly what it is. All right, question 8. Do you attend special events, groups, or book sales at the library? Yes, I do, occasionally. There's not a ton of stuff, not a ton of events that go on. There have been some recitals that have taken place that my sister, Kate, would have played in, and occasionally we would go to those, of course. There were other things. There was a book sale that went on at the library. It was actually they were getting rid of a whole bunch of books that nobody was reading or something like that, or that were really old or whatever. And so we went there and looked to see if we could find any books that we wanted. I think I only found 2 that I decided to get. One of them was Shadow Rise by Tad Williams, which is like book 3 in Austin Art or something like that. And so I can't read it anyways. And then the other one is, I can't read the title, but it's a China Mieville book, and I haven't read it yet. I haven't read either of those books yet, but I do, when there's things at the library that I want to go to, I do go to them. We also used to have 4-H club meetings at the library occasionally, and so we did that as well. Or petting zoos. We do petting zoos at the library as well. So yes, there were absolutely things that we would, special events that we did at the library. Most of the time we were participating in them rather than just attending them. Question 9. Have you ever given or taken a book from a little free library, a book box, or a book swap? No, I have not. I know of 2 little free libraries, and I have looked inside one of them in my area. And there may be more, but I've never actually done anything with them as of yet. At some point, I likely will, but I haven't yet. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I've never given or taken any book from a little free library, a book box, or a book swap. So no, I have never done that. I'm not positive about that. As a kid, I may have. To get into our local fair, we would sometimes give books we would give books that we didn't want to read or something like that, or we didn't want anymore, and that could help us get in free or something. I don't know. So maybe I've done something, but I can't remember. Bonus. So question 10 is a bonus. Does your librarian know you by name? Yes, one of them does. And that's not because we go to the library very often. It's because we've known her for all our lives, basically. Question 11 is tag some friends. Who can I tag on this one? Who's a good choice to tag on this one? I don't know. I'm not watching a ton of booktube at the moment, so I'm forgetting who people are and who do tags. But I'm going to say Shannon from Shannon's Shelf, since he's been tagging me in all of his tags recently. I'm gonna return the favor and do the same thing to him. So that's who I'm gonna tag for this one. The if not questions, I'm just gonna read through these real quick. Why the heck not? Where do you get your books from? Have you ever had a library card, or do you have one now? When was the last time you stepped foot in the library? Have you ever gone to an event at your library? Do you have little free libraries or book boxes or book swaps where you live? Show us a picture if you do, and then tag some friends. So even if you don't go to the library, there are some questions for you in this tag. So that is my response, my answers to the library tag created by the Book Buds. So thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.